At its inception, it contained 395 articles and 8 schedules, establishing the longest written national operating system on Earth. Over 70 years, it expanded to encompass over 470 articles across 12 schedules. This massive footprint attracts heavy academic criticism. Scholars routinely label it too lengthy, highly centralized, and a patchwork borrowed from foreign governments. It operates as a deliberately engineered framework, specifically designed to balance the competing demands of a diverse subcontinent against the strict need for national stability. We need to stop reading it like a static text and start analyzing it like a complex operating machine. We will deconstruct the architecture of the Indian Republic, taking it apart from its colonial foundations all the way up to its core operational modules. To see how those modules function today, we have to examine the historical scaffolding erected long before the Republic existed. This timeline visualizes the administrative trial and error that preceded independence. The ground floor was laid in 1773 with the Regulating Act and the establishment of the Supreme Court, followed quickly by Pitt's India Act. In 1858, control shifted completely. The East India Company was removed, and the British Crown imposed direct, formal governance. By 1919, the administration had fractured into a system of diarchy, or dual government, alongside the introduction of separate electorates that institutionalized communal politics. Then comes the load-bearing pillar, the Government of India Act of 1935. This act introduced the exact mechanisms of a federal structure and provincial autonomy. The framers built directly atop 160 years of this pre-existing British administrative code. The actual drafting engine was the Constituent Assembly, convened in 1946 under the Cabinet Mission Plan. Look at the raw metrics of this effort. After partition, the Assembly was reduced to 299 members. They worked for 2 years, 11 months, and 18 days, at an estimated historical cost of 6.4 crore rupees. The core processor of this undertaking was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, serving as the chairman of the drafting committee. He was flanked by specialized operators. Dr. Rajendra Prasad managed the assembly as president. Jawaharlal Nehru defined the overarching parameters with the objectives resolution, and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel handled the fierce political integration of the princely states. The immense time and financial cost allowed the assembly to debate and process over 2,000 separate amendments, forging a unified national consensus out of highly fractured opinions. The resulting architecture relies on 3 functional modules to manage the relationship between the citizen and the state. The first module is Part 3. This contains the fundamental rights, running from Article 14 to 32. These act as an enforceable legal shield, guaranteeing individual freedoms and equality. At the absolute center is Article 32, the right to constitutional remedies. Dr. Ambedkar explicitly identified this specific article as the heart and soul of the entire document. These rights are immediately countered by Part 4, the directive principles of state policy. These provide broad socio-economic goals to the government. They offer crucial guidance, but unlike fundamental rights, they cannot be enforced in a court of law. Later, the 42nd Amendment installed Part 4A, outlining specific fundamental duties required of the citizens themselves. The system engineers a deliberate, continuous tension. It fiercely protects the autonomy of the individual while legally mandating the state to pursue sweeping social welfare. This tension scales up to the macro level. India operates on a federal model, distributing power to individual states, yet the central core is designed to exert overwhelming gravitational pull. Executive power routes through a UK-style parliamentary system. The Prime Minister, backed by a legislative majority, holds the operational control of the state apparatus. To prevent that executive from rewriting the rules, the system employs judicial review. The Supreme Court stands outside the legislature as the ultimate guardian, possessing the absolute authority to strike down constitutional laws. The overlapping jurisdictions and constant friction between the parliament and the courts are intentional checks, engineered to prevent both legislative gridlock and unchecked authoritarian control. Critics track data flows from Ireland, Canada, and the USSR, labeling it a borrowed constitution, but every feature passed through the Assembly's filter. They adopted the UK model but rejected absolute sovereignty, and took Canadian federalism but strengthened the centre to prevent fragmentation. To keep the software from becoming obsolete, they installed Article 368. This update mechanism allows for amendments via simple majority, special majority, or state ratification, depending entirely on the severity of the change. This flexibility allows the state to absorb massive shocks. It survived the sweeping 42nd Amendment and the highly concentrated power of the national emergency. It operates as a continuously upgradable framework, downloading global legal precedents while reacting instantly to severe domestic threats. Look at the final output of this forge. The preamble defines the state precisely: a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. The document functions through pragmatism, balancing rigid structural stability with the handles required for democratic flexibility. It was formally adopted on November 26, 1949, and fully enforced on January 26, 1950. It serves as the living, functional architecture of the modern Indian Republic.
ಇನ್ನೂ ಈ ತರಹ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಹಾಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅನಿಸಿಕೆನ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಹೌದು.
ಸಿಗೋಣ ಮುಂದಿನ ವಿಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.